Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Super. How are you doing?
I'm splendid. Excited. Coming up later in the program, we've got Jordan Goodman joining us, America's Money Answers Man. Always fun to talk to Jordan. Today we're going to talk about credit cards. He has literally written the book on credit cards, on how to get rid of those darn credit card debts. So we're going to be chatting with him later in the program. I got a quote for today as well. Babe Ruth, he says, "Yesterday's home runs don't win today's games." I like that.
True.
Very true. Also very true is we've got a silly video that we posted the other day. Getting a lot of comments on that. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. You can see it. We're actually moving from one house to a different house, and our neighbors are so excited that we're leaving.
They are not.
No,
our neighbors love us.
They do.
Because we keep the neighborhood
But here's the thing.
interesting.
We have a series of videos we're doing to show why they're excited that we're leaving. And if they're not really excited we're leaving, the whole premise of the videos don't work. So,
But they do show how cool we are.
okay, check it out if you'd like. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people make extra money working from home. They find a product and they market it to earn extra income. I know what you're thinking. I just don't have the time or personality to do sales. Well, you don't have to. We have a business builder program to make our program super easy. You can sign up for this work from home business and let us help you build it. We run ads on radio stations like this one, and we help people like you learn how to earn extra monthly income. Call us toll free at 1-800-975-7592. See how easy it can be to have your own business. 1-800-975-7592.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, July the 14th. Today is Collector Car Appreciation Day, so it's a good day to appreciate collector cars. International Nude Day.
Okay.
We're all nude under our clothes. It is also National Macaroni and Cheese Day, National Motorcycle Day, Robin Hood Day, Shark Awareness Day, Victims of the Nice, France Attack Day. All of those things going on. So I'm going to celebrate International Nude Day underneath of my clothing. I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to celebrate Shark Awareness Day by catching up on some episodes of Shark Tank. Huh? See?
I don't think that's quite the same thing.
I know, but I don't... Oh, hey, we can celebrate Macaroni and Cheese Day.
Yes,
Maybe
we could.
do that for dinner tonight. A couple of things to celebrate on this special day, Friday, the 14th day of July.
John and Heidi.
It's 2017. Are you still getting your movies and TV the way we did last century? Quit overpaying for old technology. For just $20 per month, you get live news, live sports, live channels filled with movies, and more, all for just $20 per month. You can also stream movies and TV shows, so you can binge watch every episode of your favorite TV show. Learn more now at channelsurfertv.com. Get movies and TV for a low monthly fee at channelsurfertv.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. When it came time for lights out at the Lieber Correctional Institute on the evening of July the 4th, officers at the maximum security South Carolina prison thought that they had all 1,300 inmates accounted for. But convicted kidnapper Jimmy Casey wasn't in his bunk. A homemade dummy was stuffed under the covers in place of Jimmy. By the time prison official realized that Casey, I don't know if I'm saying it right, C-A-U-S-E-Y, I think it's Casey, or maybe it's Causey.
Anyway.
When they realized he was missing, he'd already been gone for nearly a full day.
Wow.
He was able to escape with the help of some wire cutters that authorities believe were flown in by drone. Causey, or Casey, made it out of his cell, exited his prison dorm, and cut through a series of metal fences. By the time officials confirmed he was gone, he had an 18-hour head start on law enforcement. He made it 1,200 miles to Austin, Texas, where he was captured. Once again, he left on the 4th of July from South Carolina. He was caught a couple days later, I believe, 1,200 miles away in Austin, Texas. That's crazy.
That's something I've never thought about before, is drones being able to make it into a prison yard.
Well, everybody's thought of it now.
That's crazy. I've
here's
never
the
even
thing.
thought.
Here's the thing that's going to be happening, though. If you got a drone, you're flying it anywhere near a prison, they will shoot that sucker out of the sky.
And rightly so.
And if you're, I'm guessing if you're caught flying something near a prison, that would be attempted prison break. So you'd get to go to prison for a while, too. So whoever was on the other end of that drone is going to be going to jail, too. So as much as you might think, ooh, they outsmarted. No, they didn't. They just found another way to get that in. You could have shot things in there with a catapult or something. It's not like there was no way to get things in. So it's just a different way. And guarantee you, whoever was on the other end is going to be in trouble too. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. A man in Maine, Lyman, Maine, was charged with 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child after his 2 young daughters were found wandering the neighborhood naked at about 8 p.m. That was last Thursday. Maine State Police said Christopher Peer was smoking pot and playing video games when his daughters, ages 2 and 3, climbed out a window of his mobile home and began wandering around. Police said the children had been out of the home for about 90 minutes when officials showed up after searching the home on this. After searching homes on the street, they found Pearl. Or Pierre, or whatever his last name is. They said he had no idea that his children were missing. He's like, I didn't even notice they were gone. 90 minutes he was playing video games and smoking pot while the kids were wandering around naked on the street. He's very fortunate that the right people found these girls instead of the wrong people.
Yes.
A 2- and 3-year-old naked girl wandering the street. The wrong person could have found them. That could have been it was a terrible story anyway, but it could have been even more terrible. Kids, this is what happens when your daddy's brain is on drugs. Now your moment of duh. Father in Algeria is going to go to prison for 2 years after a picture went viral on social media. It's a picture where you can see the father intentionally dangling his child off the top of a building in a pathetic attempt to get social media likes and some shares. The father captioned the photo with 1,000 likes or I'll drop him. Yeah, that is such a stupid idea. And I'll tell you, even though I know he was doing it as a joke, it's a terrible joke. I mean, what would have happened if he would have slipped and the kid would have fallen?
Well,
all
Michael
of that?
Jackson dangled his kid
I know,
over a
and he got in
balcony.
trouble for that too. I'm just saying, all of this for a stupid like or a share on social media? I mean, you don't do that. That's just a bad idea. So anyway, it's just not good. So he's in all kinds of trouble because he committed his moment of duh online. We have lots of other fun, silly stories coming your way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
I'm John Small. Ever since I was a little fat kid, my nickname has been Big John Small. Well, I decided it was time to do something about that. When I first stepped on the scale, a little over a month ago, it said overload. That was kind of scary. After about a week, it said 336. Then a week later, 326. Now, less than 316. I've lost over 20 pounds in about a month, and I did it with a delicious pink drink. It's been super easy, and if you'd like to try it for free, go to the website pinkdrinkfree.com. They'll mail you some free samples and the details on how to get more if you like it. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. A 19-year-old California teen hit the lottery twice in 1 week, raking in about $655,000. That's pretty darn cool.
Wow.
Yeah, luck struck twice there in 1 week. Swedish scientists say, that's kind of tough to say. Swedish scientists say they have developed a way to keep people from remembering horrible events. Apparently, they just have them say Swedish scientists a lot of times fast. Do you think that it's a good idea to mess with memories? Because this is them going into your brain and making the bad memories go away. I think it's kind of cool that they're able to do that. People that suffer PTSD.
I think our veterans
if that's something that you can do safely, I just think it's amazing that we're able to do that. But, you know, my fear is that somebody gets a hold of that technology and they want to erase a bunch of other things, too. That could be a bad deal.
Right.
Everybody's saying the Spider-Man movie is really good. I've not seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
I knew you haven't seen it, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
A superhero.
Well, working on weekend number 2, I guess we'll see how that goes. Hey, Monday, the busiest train station in America, New York's Penn Station, began a 2-month repair operation. It's expected to cause major problems for daily commuters. Never really thought about that, but those busy train stations, they got to work on that stuff too, don't they?
Yeah.
The federal government revealed that the U.S. nuclear power plant corporate computers have been hijacked by people sending in fake resumes. So there's people that are saying, hey, I want to come to work there. and they're hijacking, they're sending in a resume, and when they open it, they're trying to take over the computers. So maybe we shouldn't have that connected to the nuclear. I'm just saying, just a thought. They have some sort of backup in place, I'm sure. This is a weird story from earlier this week. An Episcopalian priest was driving on a highway in Florida, and he was arrested for pointing a gun at another driver. That's not the kind of thing you expect from a priest. I mean, you just don't. You get into the communion wine there, Father? What's going on? Hey, during a baseball game at Dodger Stadium, this happened again earlier this week as well. An elderly woman was shown dancing on the giant video board. That's not unusual, right?
Right.
She surprised everybody by yanking up her shirt and flashing the crowd. I'm pretty sure she's probably related to Heidi
I was
somehow.
going to say, some long-lost relative of mine.
Most likely. Dodgers immediately rallied and won the game. So now this is going to have to happen at every game.
Good news is, if she was elderly, she probably didn't have to lift it very high.
Researchers who set out to determine if the adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, they say they were wondering if it was true. Well, it's a bit more complicated. The study concluded that people who consume apples daily were not less likely to stay overnight at a hospital or visit a mental health professional, but they were likely to use fewer prescription medications. So for those of you who wonder if the adage is true, well, it's kind of true.
Okay.
And it's kind of not.
And now you know.
Now you know. And somebody wasted a lot of time and money working on that one, I'm sure. If you're trying to come up with some bright ideas for your next home project, they say, try to get rid of your lampshades, and you'll have some bright ideas. Oh
my gosh.
No, in truth, the real reason for that, it says, according to a recent study, a bright room that is lit within a single unshaded light bulb will greatly boost your problem-solving skills.
Okay.
So a single, really bright light bulb in the room will help you have better problem-solving skills somehow. I don't know if I believe any of that. And our final story. Guests watching a fireworks display after a New York wedding were having a great time, and then the police showed up, and the groom was hauled off. They were called to the home early Saturday, and they found a big party with professional-level fireworks in the backyard. The 39-year-old groom explained that he was setting them off to celebrate his wedding, but the police didn't care. There was no permit, so he was arrested. How much would you think that would stink on your wedding night, getting arrested for fireworks? There's other fireworks on wedding nights usually, but, not this kind of fireworks. Coming up, we've got a special guest, and we have a lot of other fun things on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I know it's hot out now. It's the middle of summer.
But imagine how cold it will be in November.
That's when we are going to go to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
We'd love it if you'd join us.
There's a week-long event called 80s in the Sand with a bunch of great music from bands like Loverboy, Starship, Night Ranger, and more.
Plus, you get to meet 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and so many more.
If you'd like to join us for this great time, go to 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to save $200 per person.
That's 80sinthesand.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us right now. We have America's Money Answers Man with us. We've got Jordan Goodman. How are you, sir?
Great to be with you again, John.
Well, it's always good to visit with you. And this is a thing, today we're going to be talking about credit cards. And this is something that a lot of people listening are very probably familiar with, and many of them have one in their pocket right now. But credit card debt has kind of spiraled out of control. You said that it reached a new high?
Just went over $1 trillion for the first time ever, that's right. And it's been rising at between $15 and $20 billion a month. Part of it is a sign the economy is doing okay, is that people feel more confident to go out and spend. Part of it is that credit is easier now. The banks are pushing credit cards pretty hard. Remember back in 2008, 2009, they were cutting people's credit limits a lot, so that's completely reversed. And the delinquency rate is pretty low, so the banks are feeling emboldened to kind of get a lot of credit cards out there. So that's the good news. The bad news is if you got high interest on those credit cards and you're earning zero at your checking account or savings account at the bank, you're falling behind, and you need some help, basically.
So you don't want to carry a large balance on there and rack up a bunch of interest, do you?
Particularly on things that were just consumed. You had a nice dinner, and if you're paying interest on the dinner you ate a month ago, it doesn't feel too good. You don't even remember what you ate, probably.
Yeah.
A vacation or something that's instantly consumable. That is not a good thing to be paying interest on. That's correct.
So let's talk about maybe people who have some credit card debt that they want to either consolidate or get rid of. Is there a way to do that?
Yes. So the first thing is to get better credit cards. You don't have to be putting up with whatever shows up in the mail. which typically is the worst kind of offer. So there's a free website, guide2creditcard.com, where all the best deals are. And what I like to say is concentrate your spending on the card that has the rewards that you want the most. Could be a cash rebate, 5 or 6% cash rebate. Could be frequent flyer points on a particular airline. Could be Disney points. You want to go to Disney World, buying a GM car. But concentrate your spending so you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And at that guide to creditcard.com, all the best deals are there. If you've had trouble in the past, John, if your credit is not great, you can get what's called a secured credit card, which is putting up a certain amount of money, $1,000 or so, and then they'll give you a $1,000 credit line. And if you don't pay them back, they've already got your money. So it's a way of kind of reestablishing credit. And then in about a year or so, you can kind of graduate to an unsecured card. So that's the way to get better credit cards.
All right. And I'm going to have all of this on our social media to make it really easy for you. So that's one way.
The second thing is to go to a non-profit credit counseling organization, because they can get deals you can't get from the credit card companies. They've already got deals with Bank of America and Citibank and Chase and Wells Fargo to get typically like 6-7% interest rate, something like that. You consolidate all your debt into one payment at the lower interest rate, and then you can get out of debt in 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how the numbers work out, as opposed to paying interest for the rest of your life and having this huge mounting balance of interest all the time. My favorite place in that category is called Cambridge Credit Counseling, and their website is cambridgecredit.org. Their phone number, 800-897-2200. And they've been helping over 1 million people in that circumstance. They've just got more credit card debt than they can handle. They combine it all into one. You make one payment a month to Cambridge. They pay the creditors. And by the way, it's considered a neutral on your credit score. Doesn't help, doesn't hurt. But getting out of debt is what's going to help you in the long run, John.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, even with it being a neutral, if it's helping you get out of the debt, then in the long run, it's a positive.
Absolutely. Because otherwise, if you pay the minimum on a credit card debt, it could take you literally 20 or 30 years to pay it off, because you're making very, very little progress in the principal that way. So this is a way where you can, without really hurting your credit very much, really get the thing under control. The credit card companies give them lower rates because they'd rather have them consolidate people than chase them around themselves.
There you go.
They've been doing this for many, many years, and it's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3, and the fees are pretty limited, maybe $25 or something like that. Each state sets the limits, but you're going to, let's put it this way, you'll save a lot more in interest than whatever fees you would pay a place like Cambridge.
Very nice. And I've got the link to that, cambridgecredit.org. We need to make sure we give your website, too, so if folks have other questions that they want to get answered, they can track you down, Jordan.
Sure. So it's moneyanswers.com is my website. I did a book on all this as well called Master Your Debt, which goes into all the things about improving your credit and your credit scores and getting good credit cards. This is an area that people really are falling down on, and they're getting into a lot of trouble, and I hope what we've talked about today would help them a little bit, John.
Well, we'll put a link to the book as well on our social media. Jordan, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us today.
Very good. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, Jordan Goodman, America's Money Answers Man. If you'd like to know more, I'll give you his website. It's moneyanswers.com, and I've got a link to all of the things we talked about and even a link right to his book at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you enjoying your summer, or are you worrying about this fall and how you're going to pay for college? A few years ago, a young man named Matthew was having those same worries. Then he went to work to find as many grants and scholarships as he could find, and he got a $70,000 top-rate education for free. Now he's showing you how to do it too. FreeEducationUniversity.com can help you find ways to get your schooling paid for, and right now you can get this information for less than half the regular price. Use promo code RADIO1000 to save $1,000 at FreeEducationUniversity.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
46% of men say they make their bed every day.
Liars.
I don't think
Their
that's
spouse
accurate.
makes their bed every day.
Well, maybe I don't think. Here's the thing: if some cute girl is talking to you on the phone doing a survey, and they say, "Do you make your bed every day?" 46% of the men said, "Yes, I do, Melissa." I don't know if it's really true.
Liars.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The tongue is the strongest muscle in your body.
I knew that.
That's pretty darn cool. I don't even lift weights with my tongue. I should start. Fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
Aclophobia is the fear of crowds. Got a couple others here. Logophobia is the fear of words.
Okay.
Another one here is ponophobia is the fear of pain.
Well, I think everybody has that.
That's a good one. We should be afraid of that. We all have ponophobia. Tenophobia, T-E-N-I-O, so maybe it's teniophobia, is the fear of tapeworms. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Cometriophobia is the fear of cemeteries. So there you go. A couple of fun facts for you. Brought to you by pinkdrinkfree.com. Not just another diet, it's a way of life. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
I'm John Small. Ever since I was a little fat kid, my nickname has been Big John Small. Well, I decided it was time to do something about that. When I first stepped on the scale, a little over a month ago, it said overload. That was kind of scary. After about a week, it said 336. Then a week later, 326. Now, less than 316. I've lost over 20 pounds in about a month, and I did it with a delicious pink drink. It's been super easy, and if you'd like to try it for free, go to the website pinkdrinkfree.com. They'll mail you some free samples and the details on how to get more if you like it. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have some fun videos that we're posting right now. We're doing like a little video series. And this is just not for the show. This is our silly family, actually. Our son and our daughter. Our son is 20. Our daughter is 16. And we decided, since we're moving from one house to another, to show how happy our neighbors are that we're leaving and show why they're happy that we're leaving. And in all seriousness, our neighbors, we get along great. So it's not like they're really excited. I hope not, anyway. Maybe they are. But, we're just being silly and having some fun and recording videos. And we've got them at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. But here's the reason I bring that up. There are some really dumb trends right now that people are doing online, and you got to be careful not to do this stuff. Some things are just downright dangerous. Other things are just absolutely silly. But some of these things have led to people dying. There was a person not too long ago, and actually, we actually know a relative of the person who pulled the trigger. It was in Minnesota. There's a young lady that, because her boyfriend told her to, hey, shoot me through this, shoot this book.
Yeah.
And they videotaped this anyway. The guy died. And my brother is actually friends with the lady that pulled the trigger with a relative of theirs. So he was like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so, such and such. I'm like, had no clue. I still don't. But anyway, it is just really, really silly to do that. And here's the dumbest trend lately, dangerous trends that could kill somebody very, very soon. Started out as an internet meme. It said, would you run over your best friend? And it's reemerged now on golf courses. And there's golfers running over friends in golf carts thinking that, oh, hey, it can't hurt them. It's just a golf cart. No.
It is a very bad idea.
All over social media, there's short videos of golfers often setting up for a swing or just finishing a swing, and then they get hit by a golf cart.
Oh, my gosh.
Or run over by a golf cart. And if you're not careful, somebody's going to get really, really, really hurt, and then you're not going to be laughing. I mean, just be careful out there. Just because somebody did it on the internet doesn't mean it's a good plan, all right? Be safe out there. Coming up, we got some more silly stuff talking about people doing dumb things. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
It's 2017. Are you still getting your movies and TV the way we did last century? Quit overpaying for old technology. For just $20 per month, you get live news, live sports, live channels filled with movies, and more, all for just $20 per month. You can also stream movies and TV shows, so you can binge watch every episode of your favorite TV show. Learn more now at channelsurfertv.com. Get movies and TV for a low monthly fee at channelsurfertv.com.
Hey, it's been 1 year since the solar-paneled bike path was put down in the Netherlands, and as a result, they have been very surprised. Over the past year, the path has generated 70 kilowatt hours per square meter. That is enough to power 3 houses. The people behind the Solar Road, SOLAROAD, they're hopeful the success of the path will spur more cities to adopt the idea to use existing roadways to gather cheap and sustainable energy. So what they did is they said, hey, let's resurface this road.
But how much did it cost them to resurface the
road? A lot, a whole bunch.
To power 3 houses.
But here's the thing. That's just in the first year. And it's going to keep going and going and going and going and going. So it's like, hey, we spent $17 billion, but we saved $88. I mean, that's $88 a month, mind you.
50 years after the sun burns out, this will have paid for itself.
I actually do think it's a neat idea. See, this is why it's not my good news, because I knew she'd make fun of it. Sola Road, SOLAROAD. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Just a bit ago, we had a story from the Netherlands. Now we're going to head to Norway, where a Norwegian study has found that divorce rates are higher among modern couples who share housework than it is among the households where a woman does the lion's share of the chores. And what appears to be a slap in the face for gender equality, the report says the divorce rate among couples who both do household work equally was around 50% higher than those where the female does most of the household chores. What do you think of this, Heidi?
I think that's completely accurate. That's why we are so blissfully happy, because you
I
don't do
know.
crap.
I do. I take out the garbage once in a while. Oh, I'll tell you what really stinks. And why is it the garbage man always shows up so darn early? There have been times where I'll be like sleeping peacefully and comfortably, and then I hear this banging around. I'm like, what is all that? Oh, it's the garbage man. And I'm like running out there in my underwear. Hey, don't forget this. It's probably why they come so early. I bet they see a lot of people in their pajamas.
Probably.
I'll have to see if we can do an interview with the garbage man someday. Anyway, for those of you who are trying to dodge out of work around the house, guys, just say, hey, my marriage really matters to me. So this Norwegian study. All right. Coming up in a bit, we got more. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I know it's hot out now. It's the middle of summer.
But imagine how cold it will be in November.
That's when we're going to go to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
We'd love it if you'd join us.
There's a week-long event called 80s in the Sand with a bunch of great music from bands like Loverboy, Starship, Night Ranger, and more.
Plus, you get to meet 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and so many more.
If you'd like to join us for this great time, go to 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to save $200 per person.
That's 80sinthesand.com. Heidi, this is an interesting story. Picture an office where you're surrounded by decent human beings. Your coworkers share responsibility in good times and in bad. They listen. They cooperate. They keep the office kitchen clean. Sounds like a good office, right? Well, is that your office? Not likely. Nearly 3/4 of us face rude and condescension at work. So a bunch of rude people and jerks, basically. Jerks lurk behind the cubicle walls in almost every office in America. And it's not just America, it's everywhere. Organizational psychologists call them extreme personalities. I think I should have a t-shirt made. Extreme personality. That's probably me. But for better or for worse, it says human resources. Oh, yeah, they also call them problem employees. There you go. For better or for worse, the office jerks get noticed, though. They do it because it works. Toronto-based career coach Alan Kearns says they are bold and they take risks and they have a sense of mission, but they can also be very charming. But what's worse, that brazen charm often comes off as a sign of intelligence, and believe it or not, this type of employee tends to go further in the company than people who just kind of sit behind their cubicle and never say anything.
I could see that.
So quite often, this type of person will find the promotion that another type of person won't. And I'll tell you, in all reality, sometimes I honestly think, even though maybe nobody would admit this, I think sometimes they get promoted because there are people, managers that are going, I just don't want to manage them anymore. You know, they do a good job around here, but I don't want to be their manager, so I'm going to promote them, and they're in a different department now. So I think that's part of it too. But anyway, for those of you out there like me, us, extreme personalities, so, am I a jerk around the office?
Only to me, so...
She's my wife. I don't mean to be a jerk to my wife. I love you dearly. I try not to, but there are times she's like, okay, we got a deadline. I need this by 2. And like 2:45, I'm still dinking around doing other stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm working on that. I'll get to it here in just a minute. And then 4:55 and a half is like, hey, I want to turn this in now. All right, coming up, we've got some good news. That's on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We try to get to some good news every day at the end of this program, and we typically have some good news, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, this one was shared with me a little while back. It says, let's pay tribute to the airline that did everything in its power to help a mother in need. Airlines lately have gotten a lot of bad press, haven't they?
Especially one in particular.
Yeah, there's been several of them. But in some of this harsh feedback that they've been getting from disgruntled travelers, it's good to know that some are actually working hard to be all that they can be and more. Passenger Peggy Yulee will be forever grateful to Southwest Airlines after they helped her through a real family trauma. Here's what happened. She boarded a flight from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio, turned off her cell phone as she was supposed to as they rolled away from the gate, and she and her fellow passengers didn't get very far because the plane suddenly turned around on the tarmac at the Midway Airport, taxied back toward the gate, and Peggy and the rest of the passengers had no idea what the heck was going on. Once they were anchored, a flight attendant approached Peggy and asked her to please come with me. We need to have you get off the plane. And I'm sure she was probably thinking,
right,
what did I do wrong? But she didn't do anything wrong. It says she got to the gate and they talked to her. She had a chance to call her husband, and that's when they found out that her 24-year-old son suffered a serious head injury and was in a coma.
Oh, my gosh.
And, boy, you think of how hard that would be. And she was just getting ready to go to Ohio, and that's when they said, tell you what, we're going to put you on the next flight to Denver.
That's awesome.
They said, you know, instead
Good for
of
the
going
airline
there,
for
how
stopping
cool
the
is that?
plane and doing what they did.
And they put her on the
and
next
taking
plane.
her somewhere private to give her that kind of news. That's awesome.
To go there and be with your son. I was like, oh, and all without paying an extra nickel.
Yeah.
I just think that's cool.
That's awesome.
So I've got a link to this story on our Facebook page if you'd like to see it. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And you'll also see some silly videos from us there. We've been doing a series of silly videos, and I've been trying to make sure I share those on our page. So if you like silly videos, go check those out as well. Again, it's Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening on a Friday.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest because today is a special day. It is Cow Appreciation Day. No, not just Cow Appreciation Day, National Cow Appreciation Day. So it's all over the nation. We have Sarah Walters with Minerva Dairy. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. It's always fun to visit with you. You're just such a happy, peppy person. And we're going to chat today about cows. Now, in your line of work, you guys kind of need cows, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Minerva Dairy is America's oldest family-owned cheese and butter dairy, and it's all about taking care of our cows. You know, we want listeners to know, working National Cow Appreciation Day on the 14th, that it's important to be aware of the humane treatment of some of our favorite creatures, which are cows.
And cows are very vital in the production of milk and cheese, because without cows, we wouldn't have anything to work with, really, would we?
No, not at all. And you know what? A happy cow actually makes much better butter. And there are actually several different ways of raising cows. And just to clarify for your audience, because, you know, before working with Minerva Dairy, I wasn't familiar with this either, but it's important to know. So pasture-raised, when you hear about pasture-raised cows, it means that, you know, you can look for cows that have been found in the pasture. You know, it's a very holistic approach to raising animals. Not only does it address the type of feed that they receive, but the freedom of choice. So Minerva Dairy Farms actually they're required to have pasture available all year round. And it doesn't mean the cow is on the pasture every day. They have the choice to go outside if they want, or stay under shelter depending upon the weather. But what people hear most often is grass-fed. And the interesting part about this, so you might hear, okay, this is grass-fed butter. Grass-fed animals actually do not have to see the light of day, nor sometimes have the ability to walk around on green pastures to be considered grass-fed. It's really about the food that they're eating. So in some cases, grass-fed cows live their whole lives in a barn in a very confined space. So just because it's grass-fed, it's not the same as pasture-raised.
Well, that's good to know. And I guess I never really would have thought of the difference, but I'm glad that you pointed that out, because it does make a big difference.
Yeah, it does. And it makes a difference in more, you know, about the ethical treatment of the animals.
Now, let's talk about National Cow Appreciation Day. The 14th of July every year is a big day for that. Now, how long has this holiday been around? Is this something that we've been celebrating for a long time?
You know, you got me on that one. I'm not sure exactly the history on it. I just know that it's a really fun holiday, and it brings to light, how your cows are treated, the cows that provide our milk and provide our butter, and it really just brings to light the importance of how we take care of our animals.
I think it's really cool that we're celebrating that, and it's something when you think about cows in particular. When we're sitting down for breakfast, cows are a big part of that breakfast because, a lot of the time people are having milk at breakfast time. And quite often that's also a time where you're going to put some butter on your toast. And, you're also maybe going to have something with some cheese in it. So think about all the different things that come from cows that contribute just to breakfast alone. I mean, it would be a different meal without them, wouldn't it?
It definitely would. And we do rely on cows so much, not only for dairy, but, America's a big beef industry as well. So it's so important to have that transparency and to make smarter buying decisions when it comes to the ethically raised cows and dairy products.
Absolutely. So now, Minerva Dairy, you guys are based in Ohio. What makes Minerva Dairy unique compared to other dairies that are planted all over the country?
Yeah, so the thing about Minerva Dairy is we slow churn our butter in small batches. It ensures that it delivers the creamiest texture possible. Our 84% butterfat Amish roll butter, it's so smooth and thick because rather than relying on high-speed pumps that actually shear the fat and trap the air, it uses a careful, time-tested slow churn process. So it's a better performing butter when baking. It has a richer flavor, a really deep color, and we really rely on those pasture-raised cows that aren't treated with the RBST hormone, I should say. And it's a great way to boost your diet with healthy fats and oils. So, there was a time that people thought butter was bad, but really, like a good quality butter like Minerva Dairy is pretty good for you. It's a great butter that's GMO-free and, it can nourish you at the same time. So it's a really, really great butter.
Very cool. And the thing that's nice, I was looking to see if we could buy this at our stores locally, and one of the things you can do, no matter what, you can buy it online. I was looking at the website, minervadairy.com, and I'm scrolling through here. When you click on the page where you purchase the stuff, you got some neat stuff on here. There's some red rind Munster, there's some baby Swiss, and then something called raw milk cheddar. Now, what is raw milk cheddar? That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, so most of the cheeses are pasteurized, and when you look at the raw milk cheddar, it's a little bit different. It's more of a natural cheese that we provide. But, we have so many different products on there. As you mentioned, you can have them shipped right to your door. At this time, because of the summer heat, we're not shipping at the moment, but as soon as we head into the fall, I would definitely hop on to minervadairy.com. It's when you compare it to what you might buy in the grocery store, it is so worth it. And you're getting really quality ingredients from pasture-raised cows. We have different butters, different cheeses. The flavor-infused butters are amazing. So if you come back in the fall, we have pumpkin spice.
Nice.
It's really a great option. You can have it delivered right to your door. It's really great.
Now, if there's somebody listening that works at a grocery store that could be maybe the one in charge of bringing this and adding it, they can do that as well, and you guys would start carrying it here right in the area?
Yes, and actually we do have, if you go to our product section, on minervadairy.com, and you can't find, or if you want it in your grocery store, there's actually a grocery request form that you can print out and give to your grocer, and they can contact us, and we can stock it for you.
Oh, that would be awesome. I always appreciate you guys chatting with me, and a great time to talk for National Cow Appreciation Day. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, Sarah Walters with Minerva Dairy, and today is July 14th, National Cow Appreciation Day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Very good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. Let me get my recorder rolling. And I got a question. Pet Fire Safety Month, is that the month of July?
Yeah, it's actually Pet Fire Safety Day is July 15th.
July 15th. Okay. Very good. National Pet Fire Safety Day. Very cool. All right. We will get our recorder rolling and dive right in. And that is this Friday. Was it this Saturday?
This Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Coming up.
Holy cow. All right. Here we go. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest today, Kim Gamelin, and she is with Bill Jack Foods. We're going to be talking about something that's actually a pretty special day. It is National National Pet Fire Safety Day, and that's the 15th, so that is tomorrow. And we've got Kim on the line right now. Kim, how you doing?
Great. How are you doing, John?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining me on a Friday. We've got a special day tomorrow, don't we?
Yes, we do, and it's an important day because there are a lot of pets that are affected by fires. Actually, there's about 1,000 pets that accidentally cause fires in our homes each year, but then there's also about 500,000 pets who are affected by fires that are started in our homes every year.
Now, do we know why the day is tomorrow, the National Pet Fire Safety Day would be in like the middle of July? Is this a month where we have a lot of fires in the homes?
Not necessarily. I think that it was just one of those days that was picked. That was actually started by the AKC, the American Kennel Club, and ADT Security, where they wanted to really recognize how to keep your pets safe in the case of a fire.
And, for a lot of people, I remember when I was a kid, we did, like little fire drills and stuff like that. And you can be as prepared as you want to be, but if you've got, furry friends, or not necessarily even just furry friends, it could be fish, it could be a lizard, it could be a snake, whatever. If you got pets in the house, you want to remember them for those fire drills too, don't you?
Yes, well, and I'm glad that you brought that up because that is one of the good tips to think about as you're thinking about Pet Fire Safety Day is when you think about your fire plan, and a lot of times you do it with your kids. I know that we did it with my daughter when she was a little younger, but we've gotten the dog since then, and so now that the dog's there, you have to think about incorporating the dog or the cat or the lizard or the snake into your routine, right? Who is going to be responsible for finding them? Where will you all meet? It's always good to be able to keep a leash for your dog by all the exits to your house, the main doors that you might go out to your house. So this way you can always grab their leash and be able to have them on a leash and keep them safe once you've met at your safe spot outside the house. It's also important to know where your dogs and cats like to hide.
Yeah, absolutely.
When all that's going on is there's a lot of excitement in the house, right? The alarm's going off potentially. There's smoke in the house, so it's good to know where they like to hide, so you can actually go find them there first, and then get out of the house safely.
And you had mentioned alarms. That's something to keep in mind. A lot of the time, because like when I was a kid, we were doing the fire safety drill thing at our house, and we've done that with our kids. We've talked about that. So, but we've never done it with smoke alarms going off. We've never because. We just never did. And when there's smoke alarms going off and you've got a dog or a cat or some other critter that is not used to smoke alarms going off, that is going to change everything. So you might want to figure out a way to let them know. I guess I'm not exactly sure what you would do in a scenario like that, but I know that when we had they were just testing the alarms at the radio station. This is maybe a year ago even. But it just happened to be the same day we had a group coming in, and it was a group that has service dogs for veterans. So they were in the station when they started doing this, and this poor dog was freaking out. I was like, oh, man, what could we have picked a worse guest to have in here at the time?
Well, and they hear so well to begin with that you could imagine, when there's a smoke alarm, which obviously needs to be loud to let us know that there's something going on, that can be very annoying, and it could really scare them into a hiding place.
Exactly.
It's also good, to think about, if you do crate your dog or if you have them in a particular room that you keep them in the house while you're gone during the day or when you leave for a little while, it's important to kind of think about, is that near a door that somebody might be able to get into easily and get them? So, this way then, if something is going on and you get to the house or you need to grab them in the middle of the night, let's say, and take them outside, it's easy to grab them in their kennel, take them outside and get them to safety as well. And then this way they're not on a leash. You don't have to worry about taking care of them as much as you might have to do if they were on a leash and then you're taking them around with them to try to kind of do everything else you need to do when there's a fire going on in the house.
Absolutely. Again, tomorrow is National Pet Fire Safety Day. It is on the 15th of July every year. And this is just a thing that you want to kind of plan ahead and make sure if you have a good plan, when something does happen, you're ready for it. We always hope nothing happens, but if something happens and you have a plan, it's not as big a deal, is it, Kim?
Right, no, and at least it gives you the best chance, right, to get everybody out of your house safely and as with as least problems as possible. So it's really important. Another thing you could do, John, I don't know if you guys have this, but you can actually get some little signs that go by the doors, and you can put up in the window by the door to let the fire folks know, hey, we have 2 dogs, a cat, and a snake in the house.
There you go.
They know that. You want to make sure that you're keeping that up to date. I always say that when you replace your batteries in your fire alarm every, twice a year, when the time changes, you should think about updating that information, right, to make sure that you have it on there, because you certainly wouldn't want to send our firefighters into the house if there wasn't a pet left in there.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to have that there and updated regularly so that people know who's in the house, if there's other pets in the house.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us. Again, Kim is with Bill Jack Foods. Now, you guys have good little treats for puppy dogs, so maybe if you're training them and going through the pet fire safety routine, trying to teach the dog what to do when the smoke alarm's going off, that'd be a great way to give them a treat, is a little Bill Jack treat, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think that'd be a great way to reward them for participating in Pet Fire Safety Day and making sure there's a good plan for everybody in the house.
Absolutely. Where can folks find Bill Jack treats?
They can find BoJack treats at PetSmart and Petco and at a lot of other local retailers. I always recommend that you go out to our website at www.billjack.com, and you can get some information there about a store near you. Give them a call and let them and see what kind of treats they have. We have a variety of treats and food out there, so they have a lot of good options for you.
Wonderful. And I'll make sure I throw a link to your website right on our Facebook page to make it easy as well. Now, be sure to celebrate. Again, tomorrow is National Pet Fire Safety Day, and you want to make sure you have a plan. If you have a pet, have a plan. All the details at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. All right. Thank you so much